President Trump uses Truth Social, which he owns, he uses that to make government announcemements. So the idea that a selected group of people, directed very much at Wall Street and the financial markets, would get special or early information ahead of most American people, I think is something that, even by Donald Trump's standards, is staggering.
Hi John. Ethically, the idea of pay-to-play raises many questions, but is there any legal or statutory obstacle to stop Donald Trump from selling early access to posts?
Well, Kirsten, at this point there appears to be no clear legal restraint to it because no president's ever done this before. No one's ever tried it before. The founding fathers of the US Constitution wouldn't have thought, of course, of this. Even 10 years ago, the idea that the President of the United States would charge a premium for people to get an advance on his and the government's announcements would have been something that nobody would have taken seriously. But here we are now in the second Trump presidency. And when you think about this, it's quite remarkable that they are offering, the suggestions here are that it will cost as much as $100,000 a month for a company to get faster access to Donald Trump's Truth Social postings. Now, President Trump uses Truth Social, which he owns, he uses that to make government announcements. So the idea that a selected group of people, directed very much at Wall Street and the financial markets, would get special or early information ahead of most American people, I think is something that, even by Donald Trump's standards, is staggering. And the reports here, according to CNBC, are that there would even be a discount. You would get it for $60,000 per month if you sign up to a 3-year plan. And so, is this insider trading? Does it fit the technical definitions? I'm sure lawyers would argue about that, but it's all out there. It's being sold as a product. So can a product marketed by the President of the United States be insider trading? We need some lawyers to discuss that.
Is it known how many banks and traders have already signed up for early access?
Well, we don't know yet. The White House itself is not giving a lot of information out about this. It's very much been information that's been leaking out. But this president is the ultimate marketing machine. I'm still surprised here when I'm at home of an evening watching television, making a cup of tea or something, and I hear this familiar voice come on the television during an ad break, and it's the President of the United States selling his latest watches, the Trump watches. I mean, the sort of merchandise, which is not just in his name, but marketed by him, is quite remarkable. So we don't know yet which companies or how many people might go for this, but it is staggering that a President of the United States would be offering, would want money to offer early access to announcements about the American government.
John, Donald Trump is an extremely frequent poster on social media. Have any American media organisations investigated whether those posts have benefited his own family interests financially?
Well, there have. Kirsten, CNN has done a major investigation recently, and that found that, or they claimed that, Donald Trump had promoted more than 20 companies on his Truth Social account days after buying stock in those firms, and at times announcing, according to CNN, government actions that could benefit the companies he had just invested in. Now, I think it's important to actually put the White House and Donald Trump's position on this. The White House has consistently denied, even when we have done a program for Four Corners, they made a point of denying that Mr. Trump has ever used his office for financial gain. They say that all of his actions are aimed at benefiting Americans, and in fact they argue that most of his business activities these days are run by his children anyway, or by decisions that are taken by people without consulting him. So that is the Donald Trump argument. But we're seeing with the billions of dollars that are being made by the president and his family, while the average American is finding it difficult and often finding it tougher to fill up the petrol in their car because of the Iran war, then I think a lot of Americans are starting to think that this disconnect between this enormous wealth of the White House and the average American is growing all the time.
And so could the intersection of Donald Trump's politics, his private business interests and financial markets become an issue in the midterm elections?
It doesn't seem to bite the way that this would in Australia. I mean, we saw a year or so ago our own Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, having days of publicity because he bought a house, publicly declared, on the central coast of New South Wales. Whereas here in America, Donald Trump is a unique figure, even by American standards. And the Donald Trump approach is to put it all out there, to tell everything. This is like a real-life, real-time reality show presidency. And he'll talk about this deal and my watches and whatever. And so I think the view of a lot of Americans is if Donald Trump's told us about this, there can't be anything wrong about it. So whether or not it is the definition of it, is it corruption? Is it conflict of interest? Is it insider trading? All of these terms are legalistic. Donald Trump's view and the view of his MAGA supporters is that we want a successful president. We want a president who's made a lot of money because that means that perhaps our children or our grandchildren can also end up making a lot of money. So Donald Trump manages to parlay this huge money making of the White House into the idea that America is the great capitalist dream and that you too one day can have this.
John Lyons, good to speak to you.
Thank you.